every time I turn the camera on, I feel like I just don't know what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna say. Okay. Alright. Okay, so it's been like, what, 4 years, 5 years since I last uploaded a video. The best way to start off as a kickoff topic is what has been happening recently. I was laid off late last year from my previous job, and between then and now, which is close to the end of May, I have been looking for work. I've also been doing upskilling in terms of doing more study and learning about data and tech. I've always been really interested in that, so I've done a lot of courses in the last 5 to 6 years, learning about data science, analytics, coding, and AI. What do I really want to cover? Today I really just wanted to talk about something that I feel it's a little underrepresented on YouTube, maybe just because of my feed or what the algorithm feeds me. I'm mid-aged. I'm 44 years old this year. I found it a little bit more difficult getting back into finding a job this time. I've been a lot more intentional with the next job that I want to take on. There have been jobs which I've been knocked back on, something that I anticipated because I didn't really check all the boxes on what the employer has been asking for. There have even been some jobs that I've applied for where I check off almost all of the requirements, but have been turned down. The job that I applied for in April, on April the 4th, it's a data operations analyst role that I found on LinkedIn. As you can see, it's no longer accepting applications, so I assume that they've already filled this role. But this is a role that I know I was very qualified for. So after I applied for this role, I was directed to complete a test. At UBS, they have a culture match test. So their culture match test comprises 18 questions, case-based questions to determine whether you'd be a good fit. Thank you for completing our assessment. This is not a no, so I gather that I passed that test. On the 22nd of April, I received this email saying that they're moving on to see other candidates and that I haven't been accepted. The experience has been quite deflating, to be honest. For me, when I interview, I get quite excited about a certain role that I think I can do, or I feel really excited about. What I do is I imagine myself getting into this role and the things that I could be delivering, or things I could be learning, and things I could be, contributing towards. When I get to that point, it helps me get excited, engage the employer to let them know, how I can be a good fit, how I can contribute to what they're looking to do, business objectives, cultural fit. As I go through the rounds of interviews, I feel a lot of disappointment when they knock me back. And then when you do that several times over several jobs, it gets, quite emotionally and mentally deflating. So the last 5 months of doing that has been quite taxing. The good news is I've finally found a role that is what I'm looking for. So I'm very excited about that. The role involves looking for ways to implement AI and analytics into operations broadly in a bank, which I'll be working in, to obviously find ways to increase productivity, innovative ways to see how to go about reducing manual work. This kind of work is what I've been looking to do for a long time. I wasn't thinking about anything very specific. I was simply trying to find a job where I could start applying technology skills and coding and just data science knowledge that I've acquired throughout the years into my work. A lot of the jobs that I've done in the past didn't explicitly require data skills. It was more operationally driven, business as usual, BAU kind of stuff. And then when there were opportunities, I could implement improvements to make things faster or automate things so that there were less human error involved in processing or completing certain procedures or operations. I would be quite excited to do that, to test it out. I felt that was the most exciting part of the work, really, is to find ways to just scale things, use automation, use technology. By doing that, then you have more time and cognitive capacity to do things that were more interesting. But I realized that even when I talk to people, I feel like I'm so much more structured in the way that I talk than when I'm just ad-libbing into the camera. I'm just going to leave the camera rolling and I'm just going to do the edits afterwards. So I cut out all the fluff. And thankfully, my days of job searching has finally come to an end. I was offered a role in a bank. My role will involve find ways where we can introduce artificial intelligence and analytics to improve their operations, workflows, reduce their costs, be it people costs or just how long it takes to process things. So that's very exciting. I've been looking for work that's more centered around AI and technology and data for a very long time. I've spent the last 6 years on and off upskilling. I've learnt coding, data science, analytics, NLP, self-study, and believing in yourself and believing in what you want to achieve in pivoting your career is going to be tough. Watch all the motivational videos you want, but when it comes to doing the work, when it comes to writing that first line of code, understanding it, applying it, after a couple of years, if you're not as lucky, the work will pay off. If you're lucky, maybe you'll get a job in a couple of months or in a year. But I think upskilling and developing technology skills is an incremental journey. It's not going to be an overnight thing. For me, I really like data and I really like this technology work. So for me, I decided, irrespective of how long this would take, I'm gonna do it. I even applied for a job at a bank for a junior role in data operations. That's how motivated I was to get into data and technology, that I'm willing to take a demotion even and sort of restart my career even, so to speak, in my mid-40s. But luckily it didn't need to come down to that. I choose to believe that it had a lot to do with my commitment, my determination, and just being clear on what it is that I want to achieve. So if you're like me and you want to do technology or you want to get into technology and you want to pivot your career, I'm rooting for you. Luck is what happens when opportunity intersects with preparation. See you in the next one.